Hello, hello. Here we are. We are talking about agent skills from Anthropic. This is very interesting. So I read about it and I didn't understand like the nuance of what this was doing at the first glance. Um, but let me just present a little bit about what agent skills are with Anthropic. The agent skills give Claude specialized expertise when it matters. Skills are folders that include instructions, scripts, and resources that Claude can load automatically when needed. Make Claude a specialist in what matters most to you. And I think we'll just show you what that kind of looked like. Now, I downloaded, Anthropic has a repo where you could have some pre-created skills in there in this repo. So you can kind of take a look and use some of these skills. And, there's different ones that they publish. So I'm just going to open one here. I'm going to do the algorithmic art. When you see it'll have the primary like entry point for the skill. This is the same format for every skill. It's going to be a folder. It'll have the skill.md file, which will have the instructions for the skill. And then anything else that's needed, like whether there's a license or not, any templates or script or whatever needs to run. And it's a whole like package that could open up the skill and use this package to, do whatever that skill is meant to do. What are skills? They're custom onboarding materials that package your expertise. For example, if the algorithmic art, it'll take a template, use that template to create algorithmic art, which is like, what is that? Well, you had to create it to see what it actually is. I'll show you real quick right here. So this is algorithmic art. That's pretty cool. So I installed the skill algorithmic art, went into Claude Code and said, just make some algorithmic art. This all I said. You can see it, and it says, invoking skill algorithmic art, and this is what it created. It created this whole thing. It created this whole web page. I just uploaded to my GitHub pages. So it's very cool. With a single instruction, it just used that sub, that skill folder to create what it wanted to create. So yeah, you can think of them as plug and play intelligence modules, that's a good, way to think of it. What's nice about this is it's basically taking these skills, like you have a folder of skills, right? And each one is a markdown file. And it's kind of like adding like a brief into the system prompt. So it's aware of all the skills it has, and it will mix and match skills, kind of like tool, where you support like to its own tool set, to execute certain, scenarios where the skill would be helpful. All right. Okay. So there's four core principles to this skill system. It's composable, right? Skills stacked together. Claude automatically identifies which skills are needed and coordinates their use. Again, it sounds like a tool, right? They're portable, same format everywhere. You build once, you use it across Claude apps, Claude Code and API, and that format skills.md. It's a folder, skills.md, what the skill is going to do. And then if the skill would need anything like templates or scripts, then that skills.md will say how to use those things. It's very efficient, only loads what's needed when it's needed. Now, it doesn't load it back out though. So that's something to pay attention to. Powerful skills can include executable code for tasks where traditional programming is more reliable than token generation. Right. So like, another example of one that I tested, there's an artifact generator skill, right? Artifact builder. Builder. Artifacts are like a mini app. So in that skill, it has a scripts folder, and it has scripts to run, the things to build the environment, so it could build out super quick. So I tested it, and it's quite impressive. Like I said, use your artifact builder skill to create a Kanban board with certain stipulations that I chose, and one shot. It did exactly that. So it created the mini app, it created the environment for the app and the mini app, prepackaged. It didn't have to build things from scratch because it had as part of the skill, it had the tool to create the environment. and know like what, coding format to use. As a matter of fact, it's probably a good one to actually look at. That one, yeah, perfect builder, and look, right. So it's going to, what the skill is going to do is going to say, hey, use a specific stack. Very important. Don't make AI slop. It tells you like, here, you run this script, then do this, and then do that. And then it's very, tight, and it's reliable and fast. So to create this app in Claude Code, one shot, really fast, very impressive. If I were to create this from scratch, it'd be harder and longer. And to have to install, you have to choose which packages to use, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So Claude Code, skills in action. So you could install either through the new plugin system, which I haven't used yet. I need to do that. Or you could just copy the skills into the folder. And there's two places you could do it, right? Like here's I run WSL2 on my computer. So this is my root folder right here, I believe. Yeah, this is my root. So in your root, you have your, like what you'd call your personal Claude settings. That means any project within my personal, like I have all these projects here, right? So any of these projects has access to my personal Claude. And that is just this folder right here, or Claude. This is my personal Claude. So anything that's in here is universal to all my projects. So if you go to the skills folder, if you want to make your own skills or install one, all you do is you just put the folder of the individual skills here. All right, so here's the different skills that are in the folder. You can see them. There's another one that's very helpful, I believe, maybe for me personally. The docx, which is, for example, Word, it's a binary file. So you can't straight up read a binary file in Claude Code. So this is a nice skill where you could use this little skill to, instead of doing a more convoluted way of trying to read a binary file, this will let you read the file more directly, quicker, directly and reliably. So you'll see here. There it is. There's a skill.md, which will tell you what to do within this skill. You see that there's a MD and there's the XML. Oh, yeah, there's the scripts. Right, there's Python there that does it. You can see right there. Let's see, unpack, validate. You can see here. So the skill will go in here, run this different Python code, and it'll do the whole process for you. So boom, it's as if you can read now binary docx files within Claude Code. Okay. So Claude Code workflow. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, so we spoke about this before. It's sort of like they have a brief on each skill that you install as part of the system problem. So it's your Claude Code or agent will be aware of the skill at all times. If it needs to use it, it will automatically use it. You can also force it to say, use the skill, please, to make sure it invokes the skill. But yeah, so one of the major pluses, obviously, is that you could do it. I showed you personal, so within my own projects, it has access to all these skills I installed. Okay, but how about within projects? So if you have a project, and let's say you want to add a skill, that way everybody that's in the repo is accessing it. You could put it into your Claude folder right here and just add a skills folder, and then put the skills in there and just make sure you share that folder in the repo. So everybody that has access to the repo would have access to that skill now. So that could be very helpful on teams, to streamline things. Okay. Yeah, so it talks about here, add to that folder. That's the personal, all the projects within your server, or within a project, you just go .claude/skills. Okay, so you'd install, you could go into, the plugins, or you just manually install them. So I had talked about that, sharing that through team. The use cases, Excel power use, read to generate professional spreadsheets, formulas, brand compliance. That's very nice, right? Follow your organization brand guidelines automatically, or have it check stuff for you, for standards. Code standards, of course, team coding conventions and best practices. Document generation, create PowerPoints, Word docs, and fillable PDFs, that's very useful, right? Okay, so getting started, you would install it. API. I haven't looked at the API yet, how it interacts with the API, so I apologize about that. I don't have any details. Yeah, the skills will execute code, right? So just be very careful. Like if you download a skill from somewhere, that's from a reliable and trustworthy source because it will execute the code within the skill folder. Yeah. So what's next? Simplified skill creation workflows, enterprise-wide deployment capabilities, growing marketplace of community skills. That's like the vision at Anthropic. And yeah, so I just wanted to cover that. I did create a repo myself. Okay. So I made here, I have a repo right here, my GitHub page. It's like a sandbox. And I put in here there's the examples of 3 tools. This is the canvas generator. I, I mean, it's not image generation. It's using code and design principles to generate an image. So this is 2 examples of that. This is what it came up with when I said, just make something, just pick the design and pick what to make. And this is what it made. So I'm like, okay, like, what is this? The AI thinks it's, art. Then I kind of like, went more like generally what's considered artistic, like the cosmos and certain lighting effect. And this is what it generated. And this is not image generation. This is code generated with design principles. So this is what was created by this skill. Okay. And then I showed you already the Kanban board. That's using the artifact builder. It's like, check, boom, here it is. Here's your artifact of your mini app. And you see it, look, there's an app. Boom. Nice, right? I thought that was cool. I thought it was more. Now, this one I thought was really cool. This is called harmonic dissolution, which is, it's using here, let me find it. I don't want to guess. I do not want to guess what it's called. Algorithmic art, it's called. I was like, this is the first one that I tested, and I was I thought it was very cool. Look at this. You could change like the particle count. Ooh, modifies the particle count. Let's make it faster. That is cool. Persistence. Let's do more of that. So yeah, there you have it. Any questions, any comments, let me know. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day. Bye.